So hello guys, back with another video. I'm CMD. Yes, I settled on that acronym now, or whatever you call the short version of your name. I can't speak English. Whatever. Today I've got another one of my playthings that I'm going to show you. This is a GTX 650 from Palit. This was the original video card that was inside my system, inside my very first gaming system. That was, well, it was using this one. It was using an i5-3570, MSIB 75 MA P45 motherboard, I think. And yeah, this original PC is not my original PC anymore. It is the server now, but I've taken out this graphics card because I switched to an RX 570. So you can use the server as a as a pretty nice entry mid-range sort of system. And so now we have this graphics card lying around here doing nothing. And today I'm gonna show you what's under the heatsink and maybe find some other things to talk about. Basically, these smaller cards, like it's a lot smaller than the 780 Ti I took apart last time. Also, last video, this is no landscape format. Yes, I know, future. Whatever, this is a lot smaller than the 780 Ti that I took apart last time. And yeah, because I'm not a real electrician, I don't know what the ducking is under there. Maybe I'm going to see where the VRM is or how it looks like, because on these smaller cards it's likely somewhere in this area, but well, if this looks like a joke, but what is this? Is this VMAM? Is this VCore? I don't know. I'm just gonna show you what's under the heatsink, how it all looks like. So yeah, and I'm going to try also another thing. Maybe I'm going to try to mount this fan on there and not this one. I don't know if the connector will even fit. I got this from a dead power supply, and it's a pretty powerful fan. And this is not. It's actually limited in BIOS to a max of 47%. Which is enough to cool this card, but well, I'd like more, so yeah, that's why. So before I waste any more time, let's get started. So first I'm gonna remove this cover. That's not the original cover, that's from a PCI riser. Yeah, so first on the back, this is even more simple than the 780 Ti, because this has 4 screws and nothing more. You can see here are some mounting holes that could have been used, and actually they have been used on a later version of this PCB, because I also have another Palit graphics card here. It's a 750, and the 750 uses mostly exactly the same PCB, and that one actually uses these mounting holes. Maybe I'll show that to you too. Maybe I'm going to make that video later today and upload it like 2 weeks later to, I don't know, get the impression that I'm actually consistently working on stuff. I don't know. I'm just doing this for fun. So yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's just take it apart. So screw the warranty sticker. Literally, I don't care about warranty because it has expired a long time ago. And get these. Sorry if I'm bumping the mic, I don't really have a lot of space here. And I also think that bit is a bit too small, so I'm gonna change to a larger one. Oh, it's already shifting. Oh, that one's really tight. So that was easy. So yeah, it's a very basic card. I'm going to take off the fan cable, and it came off with everything else attached to it too. Well, a self memo for me. This belongs on this side. So yeah, thermal paste. It's obviously the OG thermal paste that was on there, with a very light, little tiny amount of my white Cooler Master V1. Yes, I've taken this apart before too. I've taken all my graphics cards apart except the 2080 Ti and the RX 570. But as you can see, I reused the thermal paste on here because you could spread it around, and the temps were fine. I tested this card in the server when I didn't have that RX 570. And yeah, that is the generic brown PCB. And now I think I see the VRAM setup. So I might be right about thinking that is vCore, and maybe these two MOSFETs are part of it. I don't really know. And this looks like vCore, and it looks like two-phase or double two-phase or even triple two-phase. I don't know. I don't really know. Not that it's really important what phase this card has. It's a very old mid-range card. It has a VGA, so you know what kind of card this is. So for the next part, I'm cleaning the thermal paste off the GPU, and I just noticed I don't have my utensils over here. So I'm going to take them, going to get them real quick. So, yeah, I because I don't know what I'm going to need in the next few minutes, I just took everything. So here are my screws, a bit of tape, toilet paper, which I'm going to use to get that thermal paste off, and also some Reinigungsbenzin, which is German for cleaning fuel, I guess. So, gonna fold that real quick and get that off the GPU. If I remember correctly, that thermal paste, that OG thermal paste that's still on there, was pretty yeah, it's you can see that it's old, pretty old, but it comes off rather easily. Now I'm going to take some precision tools out and clean a bit more carefully. And now you can already see the GPU that's on there. It's the GK107 450A2. This is of course also Kepler architecture like the 780 Ti, but it's well, it's the 600 series, not the 700 series, so it's an older iteration. And this GPU is also a lot smaller than the GK110 that's on the 780 Ti. Well, that thermal paste is thick. I'm gonna try cleaning it a bit more before I show it to the camera. And I think that is enough. So, does it focus? Come on, focus. Come on, dear camera, focus. Now you're focused. So, GK107 450A2. And now you can also, now you can see it. You couldn't really see it in the 780 Ti, but you can see which vendor this VRAM is from. So the 2 GB that are on there. This one also has the VRAM on the back. And it's Elpida, who are not really known for making great GDDR5, and I think they are also no longer in business, but that's what we've got on here. And if I remember correctly, it's also the only GPU I have that doesn't have SK Hynix or Samsung. So all those GPUs that I have SK Hynix or Samsung. This is the only one that doesn't have this. I don't have a single Micron GPU over here, which I'm a little bit... I think it's okay, because I don't really want GDDR6 from Micron right now because of all the problems that they currently have. Shout out to my friend who's running Micron GDDR6 and his RTX 2080. I hope yours doesn't die, because, well, even though Micron has these problems, it's not really widespread from what I know. So, again, can I show it a bit? The VRMs, from which I think it is, so I think these are obviously chokes. So these are two chokes for what is very likely a two-phase V-core. From what I know, that's how it works. Looks like they are doubled, or maybe even tripled if these are belong there too, MOSFETs. And then over here, this is likely the one choke for the VMEM, and there are two MOSFETs, or maybe these belong to the VMEM. I don't really know. These are a lot of chips. Maybe it does. Again, I'm not a real electrician. I'm just rambling. Yeah, is there another thing on this card that's notable a bit? Well, this uses another a single 6-pin, which the 750 that's based on this PCB doesn't actually. I think I get it real fast. So this is the 750, and if you look at it like this, and I don't know if you can see everything, I'm gonna do it like that. You can see the spacing for the screw holes is the exact same. The outputs are all the same. There's even a solder point for the 6-pin, which is not here, like that. There's nothing under there. This one is missing the VRAM on the back, but this also has 2 gigs. It just has multits that are double the size, I guess. And it very likely also has the same VRM setup, like this. So I very likely do another one of these videos on this card. Funny thing is, this one is a dual slot, and this one is a single slot, even though with the cooler on it's also like at least a 1.75. Yeah, this GPU is likely next. So I'm going to get it back to its original location. One thing I want to add to this is how you can see the PCI Express connector is missing some of its golded pads, and I heard, Linus Tech Tips once made a video where they tested how many riser cables you could use before your GPU gets problems. And the funny thing, what they discovered is, like of course NVIDIA says this doesn't make a difference to the to the cards that are using all their pads. And well, it actually does make kind of a difference, because you can I'm just guessing at this point. I think they used 30 PCI Express risers or something on like a Titan, and it worked. And they used the same amount on what I think was actually also a 650. I'm not really sure. The important thing is it was also missing these pads here, and that card had problems. Like And there we had it again, the camera shut itself off. Don't know why it does that. Is there kind of a limit to what I can record on Android? I don't know, I can record this, there's enough space on it. Whatever. The thing is, these code pads, like in everyday use, it really doesn't make a difference, but the funny thing that is covered is that you can't use as much PCI Express riser cables on these, which is basically completely useless information. So I think you've got enough of that for today. So what I'm going to do now is thermal paste. I'm getting new thermal paste on. Maybe clean the GPU area a bit more, because that really looks not good. So even if I almost never look on my GPUs, I like them to be kinda clean. I think that's enough. So now I think I'm gonna try to scrape the paste from the cooler again. So as you can see, it's still pretty usable. And there are also some slight burn marks from the dye. Don't know if you can see them, they're really faint. So now we've got the old thermal paste off. And well, I think it's going to be easier to spread it on here. And we can see the burn marks, so we know where the dye would probably be. So I don't need to waste even more new thermal paste that I could use for things that would make a lot more sense, like replacing the application on the server's water block, because I think it's a pretty old application, and back then I took way too much thermal paste. So I may have to change that, but if I change it, I'm going to use thermal grizzly cryonot anyway. So yeah, I know the things I say don't make much sense. So we still have something left on this thing. Like it's really thick thermal paste. It's not really really easy spreadable. It's a lot stickier than normal. Like how do I get this off? I don't really know, but I think I'm gonna. Oh my god, there's a lot of. I can't really see it. This thing has a lot of dust on it, so yeah, I'm going to throw this bit of thermal paste away and just put a tiny drop of the Cooler Master stuff on the GPU, in case the stuff on the cooler isn't enough or is not really spread it out. So just a tiny bit, and that's probably enough, maybe even too much. Just a very small GPU. Like I think this is less than a square centimeter, so you don't really need a lot. So what I also just realized is that we can't mount the cooler back just yet, because I want to take out these screws that are in here, because that secures the fan on there, and I wanted to change the fan. The question is just, are the bits going to fit, because I have the feeling they are not going to fit into there. Oh, come on, get out. Ah, there it is. No, they don't. Oh, come on. Are the tinier ones a bit thinner? I don't think so, but let's try, because trying doesn't cost anything, except I know they don't fit. Well, I guess I got my screwdriver kit and can't use it right now, because the bits are just too thick. So that's an interesting development. Or an annoying one, depends on how you see it. So yeah, doesn't seem like I'm going to swap on this fan today, but I'm going to need another screwdriver set or bit set or whatever, so let's just mount it back on. And first I'm gonna get that cable back on that came off with the whole shroud attached to it. So yeah, belong there, and they're back on. Well, that was kinda easy. Also, interesting thing is how the dust on this PCB is on here, like, because on how the fins are oriented on this cooler. I'm gonna clean it a bit. Not that it makes any difference. We're gonna pop a cooler back on there. So yeah, let's get the cooler back on. And don't mess up the thermal paste this time. I'm gonna search the screw holes. There it is. So please stay on there for just a few more minutes. And I'm going to get to work. Oh, come on, get a bit on there. Not the mic again. If I take the finger off. Well, these screws have not the highest quality ones ever. Pretty damaged, actually. So come on. Again, we are mounting the cooler in a cross pattern, because otherwise we would put a lot of stress on the GPU and may crack it. I don't think we're gonna crack a GPU as small as this, but better safe than sorry. And also it's just good practice. So if you do it every time, you can't forget to do it. So just like that, we are almost finished. Put the last screw in. Gonna tighten them all down a bit further, and the cooler is back on. I can put that thing back on, protect the PCI Express slot a bit, and yeah. So that was everything for today, I think. A lot of less rambling than the 780 Ti video. Also a lot of higher quality video than the 780 Ti video, I hope, because I finally I remembered to use landscape format. Because in fact I realized I could have just rotated this whole thing in DaVinci Resolve, but I didn't. So yeah, that last one was completely on me. Blame forever. Yeah, but I hope this one was a lot better. I'm also doing this unscripted. So yeah, it's actually, this kind of video is actually designed to have a lot of rambling in there. Because basically what I do, I show text stuff to you, which would most likely be graphics cards and nothing else, because I don't know what else I should show off. Like, yeah, I have some really old hardware here, but I don't really know if some of these still work. So whatever, I'm carrying on far too long. I'm gonna stop the video right here. Hope you liked, hope you watched all this way. I don't blame you if you didn't. Yeah, and that was my impromptu teardown of the Palit GTX 650